Hi, everyone. I am Kinza, the volunteer coordinator here at Met Radio, and today I'm teaching you how to produce a public service announcement or PSA. So here on the screen, you can see that I have my lovely script and I have Audacity open. If you don't know, Audacity is an open source free audio recording and audio editing software. It's a bit of an eyesore, but it does everything it needs to do. And here you can see that I have a broadcast board in the Red Studio that has a couple of different channels. Most of these buttons you do not need to use. None of these, none of these. Here you can see channels with individual sliders. You can see host mic, mic 2, mic 3, mic 4, mic 5. So those correspond with the different mics that we have here in the studio. You always want a different mic per person because everyone speaks at different volumes, and the sliders allow you to adjust the gain of each of the mics. So in the end result, everyone's voices are within the same range. We want to be recording between -6 and -12 decibels. So here in Audacity, I'm going to enable silent monitoring, and that allows me to look at my levels a little bit more accurately. So I'm going to adjust my mic. The first thing you want to do is get comfy, and then you want to bring the mic to where you are. If you have your script at the side and you're going to be turning your head a lot to read your script, maybe position your mic that way so you're not getting inconsistent sound recorded. So I'm going to be adjusting my mic. You don't want it to be too close because then you get some popping sounds or hissing sounds known as plosives, and just some weird mouth sounds that can be caught on the tape. So I'm going to adjust my slider here for the host mic. I'm not going to push it all the way up because that doesn't give you any headroom. So around this point looks good to me. This is the voice that I normally speak at, and I'm peaking around -6, which is perfect. In the end result, you want to make sure that your recording is peaking at about -2. That's just what we prefer for radio. The reason that we do not record at -2 is again because it doesn't give you enough headroom, and you can easily hit 0, or you can go into the red, as you can visually see on the monitoring levels. And then you can't really go back from that. Your voice is going to be distorted, and it's not going to sound good. But yeah, now our levels are set. I have my headphones on, so I am listening to myself live as I talk, which can take some getting used to. And luckily, I am. For us to hear any sound that's coming out of the computer, we want to make sure that the Mac channel is on and that it is at unity, and it's peaking at about the same levels as your voice is. And the laptop channel here is if you want to be patching in your own laptop and bringing it in. And then we have these two knobs here, CR for control room. So these are the speakers that are built into the studios, and headphones. So what I'm hearing in my headphones. You never want to go off of what you're hearing on your headphones because the headphone volume could be all the way down, but then the actual gain of your mic could be all the way up. So you always want to rely on the decibel meter, either in Audacity or on the board itself. We can go ahead and record. So I'm going to hit this red record button, and I'm going to be reading my script here on the right. As you can see, I have spelled everything out, how it sounds. So, like the times, 2 p.m., and even the URLs, rom.on.ca. And I've made the text big. I've also double spaced it. This just allows it to be a lot easier to read. You can also break it up by sentences, and that way you can just re-record individual sentences rather than re-recording the whole thing. Now we're going to record. Are you looking to learn more about Toronto neighborhoods and communities? The Royal Ontario Museum is hosting guided discovery walks from May to October, rain or shine. The free tours are scheduled on most Sundays at 2 p.m. and Wednesdays at 6 p.m. with no registration required. Each free guided walk takes place at a different location, so visit rom.on.ca for more details. PSAs have to be under 30 seconds for us to air them as frequently as we do. So this is landing at about 23 seconds, which is pretty perfect. That means I can have some music at the beginning and end. You also don't have to do it all in one take like I did. You can just re-record individual sentences, do it one sentence at a time, whatever works for you. I have just been doing this for a while, and I just prefer doing it in one take. We're going to find a fun tune to pair with our public service announcement. So I've just looked for jazz on Free Music Archive. It is a vast music library. We can find royalty-free, copyright-free music. We do still have to track the music that we're pulling from, so just make sure that you're saving the links because we do need the track title and artist title for tracking. So yeah, you can just click instrumental to make sure that there's no lyrics in your music that you're sourcing. And I've already listened to it, and I think I think the track "Off to Osaka" by Kevin MacLeod would be a great fit for this PSA. Add a little bit of jazzy flair. So I'm gonna pull that into Audacity. I already have it downloaded in my folder. So here in my volunteer folder, I'm gonna find my name right here, and I'm currently working on this PSA, and I have put that in there. So let's open that up and import it in Audacity. It's automatically going to put it on its own track. Just to keep things even more organized, I'm going to rename this track Music. And there we have it. So if I were to play it right now, it's probably going to be as loud or even louder than my voice, and you're not going to be able to hear anything that I am saying. Discovery walks from May to October, win or shine. You do not want the music to be distracting away from your voice because, again, this is a public service announcement. We are informing the public about very important events that are happening in and around our communities. This is also pretty long. I don't want to play the full track. I want it to end about 30 seconds. So I'm going to clip it there about 30 seconds. And perhaps I want some music at the beginning, so I'm going to kind of center my talking bit about in the middle. Let's play back. Before we play back, I'm going to lower this whole thing. So I'm going to highlight this, go to Effect, Volume Compression, Amplify, and let's de-amplify by about 5 decibels. Let's see where that gets us. Are you looking to learn more about Toronto neighborhoods and communities? It's still a bit distracting, so I'm going to go in with this tool, Envelope tool. It's right beside the default selection tool. And this allows you to create anchor points in the waveform, pinch and pull them. So visually, you can see where things get loud, where things get quiet. So just visually looking, I can see that the waveform of the music is pretty similar to the waveform of my voice. Maybe I will boost this up a little bit. I create an anchor point on either side of this little spike and just pinch that down just so it's not clipping or hitting 0 decibels. And then I'm going to go to the music here, and I've created an anchor point kind of where I start talking, and I'm going to lower it significantly. So it gets a little louder as the PSA starts, and then as soon as I start talking, it quietens down. And then I'm going to do the reverse at the back end here. I'm just going to spike it up a bit, boost the levels, just so it ends off out of tune. Let's see how that sounds. Are you looking to learn more about Toronto neighborhoods and communities? The Royal Ontario Museum is hosting guided discovery walks from May to October, rain or shine. The free tours are scheduled on most Sundays at 2 p.m. and Wednesdays at 6 p.m. with no registration required. Each free guided walk takes place at a different location, so visit rom.on.ca for more details. I like that. I think I'm going to lower it a teeny bit more, just a smidge. And let's see how that sounds. Are you looking to learn more about Toronto neighborhoods and communities? The Royal Ontario Museum is hosting guided discovery walks from May to October, rain or shine. The free tours are scheduled on most Sundays at 2 p.m. and Wednesdays at 6 p.m. with no registration required. Each free guided walk takes place at a different location, so visit rom.on.ca for more details. Kind of ends abruptly because it had cut off the track. So we're going to do a fade out at the end here. Highlight, effect, fade, fade out. Maybe even a little bit more. So now that I'm ready to export my PSA, I'm going to go to File, Export Audio, export to this computer, and give it a name. I'm going to make the name Exit Project _ my name, making sure that it's also ending up in my volunteer subfolder right here. For your own archiving purposes, you can export it as a WAV file, which is the highest quality possible. But for us to be able to air it, we do ask that you export it as an MP3 at the highest quality possible. So making sure it is stereo, the sampler rate is the highest it goes, and the quality bit rate is the highest it goes as well. You can also export it as multiple files. This means that each track will be exported as its own file. This makes it easier to make any edits if anyone asks. And so you have isolated audio files of the music and of the talking. Just for this, though, I'm going to make it the entire project. And I'm also going to edit the metadata using this little button here. So the artist name should be yours. The track title is going to be exit project underscore my name. And finally, the album title is going to be PSA. And the year is the year it is, which is 2024. That looks all good. And now I'm going to export the project. I'm ready to now submit. So I'm going to head over to exitprojectsubmission.metradio.ca. And you can go ahead and submit your project. So I'm going to put in my name. Whoops. I'm going to put in my name, my email, type of PSA I did, what topic I covered, how long it is. So if you go back to your project file and go to get info, it'll tell you the duration right here. The exact duration is 0030 seconds. So I'll just type that in. And finally, you can upload your segment here. Oh, it does not. Okay, yeah. So if your segment includes music, you have to click yes and also insert the year, the artist, the album, and the track title. So let me just find that information. Yeah, there's this one. How do I find out more? Okay, there we go. So this was the track that I used. So I'm just going to go ahead and input that information. So here you can see it's from 2011. The artist name is Kevin McLeod. Let me just double check the spelling. And the album is Jazz Sampler. And finally, the track title is Off to Osaka. And now here it'll ask you what collective show you'd like to be placed in next. So after Exit Project, you are an active volunteer. We then place you in one of our collective shows, which are listed right here. You can learn more about the shows by clicking on this handy link and reading the blurbs. I am interested in coordinating or contributing to the intersection. So I've selected that. And I'm just going to make sure that all of the information that needs to be here is here, which it is. And finally, I can submit my project. So that's how you can produce a public service announcement at Met Radio. I've been Kinza, the volunteer coordinator. Happy radio making.